Nityanandam, Jnanapadati Manual, under the guidance of Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam. Let's start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nityanandam Paramasukhanam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadusham Tattvamasyaadilakshmyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Let's go through the disclaimers. Security measures. No photography, video, audio recording. Important cautions. Please be aware of the important cautions. What is power manifestation? Let's hear from Bhagavan himself explaining what is power manifestation.
All the 25 states of consciousness, when they happen in you, due to your chemicals and hormones, ups and downs, it is powerlessness. When it happens in you, out of your free will and consciousness, it is powerfulness. That's all. When you fall into sleep, it is powerlessness. When you enter into sleep, it is powerfulness. When you fall into dream, it is powerlessness. When you decide to dream, it is powerfulness. So I have added the ultimate powerfulness, Turiyatita, in your whole being and doing, manifest all the powers. Understand, power manifestation is nothing but cognitive shift. It is not work. It is cognitive shift. Understand? It is just cognitive shift. It's not work. Work is a 4-letter word. Power manifestation is cognitive shift. Playing with life. Playing with being alive. Static matter, dynamic activity, strategic existence, all these three has no boundary. You are one with it. You are alive in everything. Everything listens to you. Everything decides as you want. Power manifestation is cognitive shift, raising your frequency, not work.
Now let's understand who is Paramashiva. Bhagavan himself has beautifully explained.
Beautifully, Bhagavan explained what is power manifestation. Now, understanding the power manifestation as a science. Power manifestation is raising our frequency, becoming the kalpatru of our life, manifesting what we want in how we want and where we want, is the space of oneness with Paramashiva, becoming the superconscious species. And Bhagavan beautifully says how we can make our dream into reality. And it is a science because millions have experienced that, which is documented, and each one of us to experience that as our prasada. Science of power manifestation is authentic, time-tested, scientific, and foolproof. The pramanas are the evidences to give us the cognitive shift, what we understand as materialistic world, to the space of oneness with Paramashiva as the higher consciousness, how we can exist. The Shastra Pramana, the eternal unchangeable truth, revealed in the source scriptures as Vedas and Agamas, Vedas as pure science and Agamas as applied science. Apta Pramana, the experience and the results of the Aptas. Aptas are the Rishis, Munis, Ganas, Nainamas, Alvars, Siddhas, Yoginis, Emperors, Grahasthas. Millions of them who have manifested all these powers, which is authentic, time-tested, scientific and foolproof. They are the authority of Hinduism. Atma Pramana, account of His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nityananda Paramashivam, this millennium's avatar's personal experience of power manifestation. Bhagavan plays the Leela to showcase how the cognitive shift can manifest the powers of Paramashiva and becoming the superconscious species. Shakshi Pramana, the experience of the millions of disciple devotees followers all around the world, manifesting the powers of Paramashiva, initiated by Bhagavan himself. Bhagavan clearly says, whoever is in the Kailash courtyard, I myself will reside in them, manifesting the powers of Paramashiva. Pratyaksha Pramana, the scientific study measuring the effect of being in the enlightened state. Bhagavan Paramashiva has clearly said in Avatar Shastra how the brain, the prefrontal cortex becomes so active, and simply the thoughtless space creates such a clarity and such a healing and blissful space. We can manifest our reality as we want as a higher dimensions of the realities. Bhagavan Paramashiva has given the Shastra Pramana for the power of consciousness over matter from Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Vijnana, consciousness, Bhairava, one who experiences consciousness beyond the matter. Tantra is the method, how you have methods in the outer world to do things, learn things, and in following the procedure, here Bhagavan gives the ultimate procedure for us to manifest the powers of Paramashiva. For the power of consciousness over matter, the scriptural reference is from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Sutra 120, Dharana 95.
One gives us the solution for being. Let's move to the Shastra Pramana.
The Shastra Pramana for the power of consciousness over matter, silicon, is taken from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Sutra 120, Dharana 95. Kvachid vastuni vinyasya shanair-drishtim nivartayet tajnanam chitta sahitam devi shunyalayo bhavet. Kvachid vastuni vinyasya shanair-drishtim nivartayet tajnanam chitta sahitam devi shunyalayo bhavet.
Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Sutra 120, Dharana 95.
Bhagavan beautifully says, Bhagavan Paramashiva says, having fixed one's eyes with a particular object, Vastu, one should slowly withdraw the sight from the object as well as slowly eliminate the knowledge of the object, along with the thoughts and impression of it. Then, O Devi, one abides in Sunya, the state where there is nothing other than this exists, the state where they're all inclusive or infinity. This is not something new to us. We experience every single night, and when we get into the deep sleep, we are in the space of frequency. We are not in the materialistic world that we can describe with the mind. Mind cannot understand the state. That is why only when we come back from that state, we are able to describe the state, but we are not in the state, we can describe the state. Bhagavan beautifully says, it is a different frequency what happens when we go into the deep sleep. How we experience the death and the birth cycle. Same way, this is a small death that we are given a glimpse, how it exists. But beyond the death and birth, the consciousness is real. Because we exist even in the deep sleep without the state of the mind or state of the body. We exist in the superconscious space as Paramashiva, as consciousness. And that is real. That is the reason why we come back to our body and experience through the five senses. As long as we have the desire, we come back to the body and experiences all these desires, fears, greed, all the incompletions that we carry. And here beautifully he says, when you remove all that we know of the object, if an object rose, you remove all the impression on it, thoughts on it, knowledge on it, and everything, then what is there in the rose? It is just a frequency. It is also presented as a rose, as a physical reality. But in the frequency level, everything is connected to you and you are connected to everything. How you're connected with your hands and legs and everything, same way you're connected to everything. That string theory now proves it, that how it happens. When you have the cognitive shift, then the neural plasticity that happens in your brain, when you break from your pattern and cognize that Paramashiva is real and understand not just the materialistic world, you also exist as frequency, as quantum. as the higher dimensions, as observer, or awareness, witness, to witness how Paramashiva is happening in this body and celebrating himself. When we are in deep completion, we recognize the pure space of oneness. All that we need to do is drop all the identities that we carry. Simply we will merge into Paramashiva's space and extremely experience that space of oneness, manifesting all the powers of Paramashiva. Here in Atma Pramana, Periya Puranam, Tirunavakavarsar and Thirunyana Sambandar both go to Vedaranyam temple where the door was closed for many years and it was not able to be opened. The temple doors are huge doors which does not open. And so Thirunyana Sambandar, who was a child, who sang the song, he lived about only like 15-16 years, and he was fed by Devi herself when he was 3 years old, and he was the most beautiful blessing of Paramashiva as their own being as Thirunyana Sambandar. He sang a song first, and for the first song, Shiva opened the door, and then again the door closed, and Thirunavukarasar, it was his turn. He was an aged person, 70 plus years, and he was called Appar because Thirunyana Sambandar saw him like his dad, and he was such a profound poet that he is the king of the tongue. That is what Thirunavukarasar, the king of what the words are, the king of the words, to be precise. And when he sang, Shiva did not open the door in the first song, but later and later and later, hearing to all his songs, finally he opened the door. Thirunavukarasar asked Thirunyana Sambandar, why is this happening? Why Shiva has not still accepted me? When he accepted you at 3 years, what did I do? And Jnana Sambandar, he explained so beautifully. He said, Shiva was melting in devotion that you were expressing. And simply he did not even remember to open or close the door. And finally he remembered that he should open, and then he opened. Such was your songs on Shiva. And then they understood the greatness of Thirunavukarasar. All these greater signs is not just a mythology. Simply, it is a reality. How Bhagavan explains about his Guru and how they manifested the powers of Paramashiva.
My parents' portion of the house and wanted to go and ask Raghupati Yogi. Raghupati Yogi will do all kinds of this weightlifting and everything. He's a amazing yogic body. He will show visibly the power of yogic body. He will tie the iron rope in his chest and break it, blast it just by breathing. And lift any size rock, just like that he will lift, or he will roll. There is a huge rock in Arunachala hill, which has rolled and at least some 200 feet it has rolled and stopped. Nobody knows how it happened. I know. It's Raghupati Yogi's work. One day we both were sitting and talking, and he was explaining on Yoga Sutra, when you feel one with nature, nature listens to you. I said, how can that be? He asked me to feel one with the rock. I just contemplated, meditated, and I was feeling one with that rock. Huge boulder. When I was in that ecstasy, he just moved my hand. Suddenly, without telling me, he moved my hand. I literally saw the whole boulder rolling. I did not touch, there is no physical contact with that rock, boulder. Just that feeling one with the rock, when he moved my hand and the boulder started rolling. I started shouting, oh, what happened, what is happening? Stop. Then he stopped my hand and the boulder stopped. I think from that time only I started shaking people. That was the first object responded to my movement. I actually wanted to ask him, can you lift this house and bring it and give it to Arunagiri Yogeshwar? He was laughing. He asked me, where did you put a mark? I said, I should take only my parents' portion, not anybody else's. Anyhow, early morning before going to the Arunagirishwara, I'll have my own dhoti. Whatever I can look around and get, take it. I'll put everything and pack it. And it'll all be very silly. It will not be directly useful for him at all. But whatever I feel as useful in my life, all this wooden box, cardboard box, I make small temples with that only. I'll take all that. And he will laugh at me. One day I wanted to stitch a shirt for him. I remember. I took a measurement with a rope to stitch a shirt. He was laughing. Actually, I called him. You come to the tailor shop and give the measurement. I want to stitch a shirt for you. He said, no, I will not come to tailor shop and all. You yourself take a measurement and give it to tailor. We had one family friend, tailor. He's a very good person. I said, no, he's a very good person. He will stitch and give you the right measurement and everything. Somehow that guy was, that Arunagirishwara said, no, I don't want to come. You take it and give the measurement. But finally, it never got materialized. Never. Because this tailor will ask, no, I want this measurement, get it. Next day I'll bring that measurement. Then he will tell, no, I want this measurement, also bring it. Finally, till the end, we were not able to take all the measurements at all. I was never able to give all the measurements, so it never got materialized. But I used to feel, whole day I'll feel, what can I take it to him? What I can get? You just do not know what to do. What way you can please him? What pleases him? What satisfies him? What fulfills him? You just do not know. Devotion is the sacred sentiment which makes you feel, how can I please him? You know very clearly you can't fulfill him. He is already fulfilled. But how can I please him? What I can do to please? How can I pour myself on him? That intense mood is what I call devotion. Imbibe. Just be soaked in this one sacred sentiment. How can I please him? To whichever object or deity or God or Guru you are devoted, again and again and again soaking yourself in that sacred sentiment of how can I shower me on him and please him. Again and again and again, soak yourself, fill yourself in this one sacred sentiment. You will melt in devotion.
Shakshi Pramana.
Beautifully, Bhagavan explained how you melt into the space of oneness with your Guru, Paramashiva, who has come down. God himself has come down as your Guru, and melting in his lotus feet is all we need to do. Filling us with him, completely surrendering our identity, ready to surrender any identity. Beautifully, here in Shakshi Pramana, you can see how the coconut is cracking in physical reality just by chanting the Mahavakya. And first, when they started, they just apply the Jnananjan and there is no crack. You can see it very clearly. And slowly, including the cracking sound, you can see on the top, there is no crack. There's Jnananjan, there is no line. And you can see on the demonstration of how a coconut, which is so hard, it is cracking. Exactly. Now you can see how the crack has phenomenally formed with the sound just by chanting Mahavakya. She's not hitting on anything. She's not breaking it. She's not doing anything from external. Just by the Mahavakya, how it is cracking, and beautifully that experience of oneness. Today we are going to manifest the power of consciousness over matter, cracking the coconut. If you don't have a coconut, you think, what do I do? You can use some other object for consciousness matter. That is moving an object just by consciousness. So if you have the coconut, please take a picture of it and we can really beautifully demonstrate by recording it or taking a picture before and after to make sure that coconut has no crack, and then after Mahavakya, how raising your frequency, simply the coconut cracks. And many a times we do puja, we keep the coconut, betel leaf and betel nut. Experience this reality. Beautifully, when we start surrendering our inner space, how Karuna was ready to give up anything to experience that oneness with Paramashiva. He was in such a devotion that he said, Krishna is real and I am ready to give up anything. He knew Indra was coming to take all his kavacha, and he knew that because if he loses his kavacha, he is going to lose the war. In spite of knowing everything, he gives it off. He knows that consciousness is real. And he knows Indra is cheating him, and cunningly he is taking away the kavacha and just for Arjuna to win. And still he gives up the kavacha and still holds that oneness space. And then he goes and fights and he falls but does not die because of the punya. And this time he knows Krishna is coming as a Brahmin and asking for the punya also, and he will simply die if punya is lost. In spite of that, he was ready to give his punya, and finally he got liberated because he gave everything up, every single identity, just to experience Krishna. If you are ready to give up everything, you don't lose anything. You give up everything to go to sleep every day, but you don't lose anything. All you need to do is consciously give up everything only in the inner thoughts, surrendering that Paramashiva is real. And Paramashiva is experiencing through you in all its fullness, in all its senses. There is no objective reality as we perceive. The objective reality itself is a perception where we carry that object is different from us and we see only the materialistic object. Everything has a frequency, lives in a frequency in a different level. And when we understand our perception only need to be changed, we are not losing anything, rather gain everything and much more. We'll be in such a beautiful space of oneness to create whatever we want as reality. So visualize your third eye filled with Paramashiva and his words. How Guru describes himself to you. The Guru's grand narrative, how Guru narrates for you, only use that as your narrative. And do not take any other narrative and hold that oneness space, ready to surrender any identity that life is trying to push on us, and drop that identity and surrender to Bhagavan's lotus feet. Merge into Paramashiva by chanting the Mahavakya with a deep oneness. When you entangle with Bhagavan, chanting the oneness space again and again in deep gratitude and love and surrender, something else transforms you. Become completely empty. And when you fill with Paramashiva, you understand Paramashiva is real. Consciousness is real. How you experience the deep sleep, when you have the restful awareness, the mind can experience consciousness is real. All that which is throwing tantrum is not you, because it's the parasite sitting in your guts running a riot on you. It is not you. Bhagavan beautifully says, you are superconscious being. You are not touched by anything that happens in the outer world because you are eternal. You are infinite. Once we recognize that and start living, I'm also the body, I'm also the mind, but I am consciousness. Simply you become that reality who you are. Let's start chanting the Mahavakya for experiencing the oneness and manifesting the powers of consciousness over matter. Chant Mahavakya with a deep listening. Listening is the secret key of manifesting powers.
Nityananda Paramashivam.
Paramashivam. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eyes. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam.
So beautiful. If the crack has happened, just check your coconut. Please take a picture of the coconut, and whatever Paramashiva is showing, if the coconut is rolling or coconut is moving on a gadget, if you are using a gadget to move the coconut, please be clear. It has to be on a flat surface and it should be completely switched off. So there's no vibration which is moving that. Do it very authentically, because all we need to understand beyond the mind how this manifestation happens. How beyond the mind you go into the deep sleep and come out every single night. It's a miracle by itself. Same way, beyond the mind, something can happen in your life other than sleep. That is consciousness, and that is how you recognize these small workshops that Bhagavan has given to make us understand that Paramashiva is real. More and more we experience the power manifestation, more and more we start manifesting huge powers and huge reality for us, and making ourselves the kalpatru of our life, that celebrating Paramashiva as reality. In any way we experience the consciousness through deities, through our inner space, that holding Paramashiva is real, or that Paramashiva as our Guru himself manifesting through us. However you experience the oneness with Paramashiva, manifest in the existential reality through these small workshops. That is what is power manifestation. Now we'll have a second cycle. Please make sure you take a picture before and after of the coconut. Even if you're moving an object, take a picture before and after the moving object. You can take the last position, or if you do the video recording, that's wonderful. You can share it with the world. All this greater science that Bhagavan is giving, and collective integrity, collective consciousness, when we all sit together and manifest, huge healing happens. So whoever is not well also can sit just in this Kailash courtyard, where Bhagavan calls it a Garbha Mandir. Simply whatever you experience becomes reality, not just manifesting the power, but also in the outer world. Whichever you're stuck, you get liberated from that. So sit very consciously with 25 heads and 75 eyes and 50 hands, so alive with all the eyes open and entangling with Bhagavan, chanting the Mahavakya from your navel center with a deep listening. Let's start the second cycle.
Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Om Nityananda Paramashivam. Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eye. Om Dhyananda Paramashivam. 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 Let Paramashiva's third eye manifest in all our third eyes. Let the Amrita pour, let the Varni open up, manifest in all of us. Let Paramashiva overflow, manifest the powers in all our third eye. Om Dhyananda Paramashivam. 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 Om Dhyananda Paramashivam.
So beautiful. Whatever you have experienced with the coconut and whatever you have felt that Paramashiva is real in your life, whatever you are going through all these experiences, how it transforms you, how are you recognizing yourself in your life as Paramashiva is real. Please go ahead and share that in tinyurl.com/bar manifestation. And whatever the breakthrough is, simply whether it is a headache or your experience in your work or in your relation or in your different decisions, how you have manifested beyond your mind, thinking mind, keep on registering that, the breakthroughs. And simply you will see after a month, just attending this Kailash Kotyad and Darshan and Diksha and Bhagavan Satsang, how your life has transformed into what you want. you will start recognizing. We always do not recognize. We recognize if somebody says we are in this group, in this as a father, mother, sister, brother, everything we recognize. But we are Paramashiva, we don't recognize, which is the very nature of us. To recognize that, who we are, Bhagavan gives a simple exercise is keep on monitoring all the breakthroughs beyond the mind, what happens in your life where there is no logic and where life just happens to you. You did not plan it, decide it, do it. Nothing is because of you, but in spite of you, it has happened. Record all the instance and thank Bhagavan, because the minute you are in the conscious space, these things get reality to become reality in us. Thank Bhagavan and share it with your friends and families. Tag it to all your friends and family how Paramashiva is real, consciousness is real. Manifesting powers of Paramashiva is the ultimate gift Bhagavan has given the humanity. And thank Bhagavan for all this great science pouring in us as reality. And if you see the dollar sign, you can offer your gratitude, your donation. Lakshmi Mats, thank you so much for being consistent, holding that space. Paramashiva is real and donating. When you buy an object out of world with your currency, you will only get the object. But if you buy yourself the donating to Kailasa, you will become Kailasa, you will become Paramashiva. That is the difference between what you are trying to do outside and what you work with the inner world. Simply you become Paramashiva, you become the creator of everything, manifester of everything, pulling yourself out of delusion and getting liberated that Paramashiva is real. So with the deep gratitude and earning, thanking all of you and thanking Bhagavan in the deep oneness space and holding Paramashiva is real, surrendering all this powerful cognition, power manifestation at his lotus feet and holding the powerful space, Paramashiva as in word and thought and action, in everything I know as reality and holding everybody as Paramashiva. With this powerful cognition, ending the session with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagavate Sri Nityananda Paramashivam Padukarpanamastu. Om Nityanandam. Thank you so much and see you in the next session after the next darshan or diksha in Kailash Courtyard manifesting power sessions. Thank you, Nityanandam.